If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Straight Talk MMA, hosted by Zay Bones and Trevor.
What's up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Straight Talk MMA, episode 16. Tonight, we're going to be doing a preview show for the UFC 292 event coming up this Saturday. But before we get started, I do have an announcement that I want to make. So this is a sad and happy occasion all at one time. So when we started this show 16 episodes ago, we started this show, I want to say, back in March. Actually, this was the first live. This UFC show was the first show that we've ever done on my channel since we started streaming on my channel in March. And from the beginning, you know, Zay and Bones didn't know, but I basically was preparing them to take this thing over, just because I do a show every single day of the week. I also work 10 to 12 hours a day, and I'm tired. You know, my shows normally last 3 hours long, and I'm talking the majority of the time. And I'm tired. I'm wearing out. And the UFC is their passion. You know, I've never seen anybody break down non-professionals, break down the sport the way that they do. And I feel like I've taken this as far as I could take it. So today is officially my last day on the Straight Talk MMA show. I mean, this channel, this is the Straight Talk with Trevor channel, so it'll still always be a part of the Straight Talk Society and under the Straight Talk banner. But I don't think I need to be on here anymore. I think that these two guys are more than capable enough of carrying the ball with their knowledge. You know, I don't need to be the third wheel. I don't, you know, Hulk Hogan, who's the third guy. I don't need to be the third guy here. So I'm going to turn this over to the hands of the two brothers. I trust them enough. You know, I trust them enough that they won't do anything to mess up my channel. And I know that they're going to continue to bring you guys the quality that you have experienced and expected these past 15 episodes. So with all that being said, it's been a tremendous ride, but Mr. Straight Talk is officially bowing out of the MMA portion of the Straight Talk Society. So without further ado, let me bring on the new hosts of Straight Talk MMA. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
I would just like to say I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm ready to get it cracking.
Bones, you there? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm excited. I'm ready to go, man.
All right. So, with all that being said, hey, just like how I've always do. I'll be in the back because y'all know this is my baby, so I gotta watch. I gotta make sure that my baby is ran right. But like I said, I trust these two guys that they will do a good job, and I have the utmost confidence and faith in them. So to all you guys in the chat right now, please make sure and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Go ahead and check out the channel if you're into fighting. We have the obviously the Straight Talk MMA that these guys are doing, but we also have a show entitled Wrestling with Reality. You might want to check that out in addition to all the other things that we do on the channel. So I'm about to back out. Let me pull up you guys. You ready for me to pull this screen up?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, y'all have a good show, fellas. I'm out.
All right.
All right, peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk MMA. We will be breaking down big card coming up tomorrow. UFC 292, the Funk Master Aljamain Sterling defending his bantamweight belt against Sugar Sean O'Malley, and we're gonna take this thing straight from the early prelims and just ride all the way out. So with the first fight of the night, we have Karini, the Killer Silva versus the Iron Lady Marina Moroz.
All right. So for this fight, I'm gonna take Karine Silva on Marina Moroz. I really haven't. I don't remember her getting a significant victory in a little bit, and I feel like Silva, she has more of the momentum, and I just feel like she has more upside at this point. So I'm gonna take her to win, probably by decision.
All right. The way I see it, Karini Silva, she is an up and comer. This is probably her third fight in the UFC. So far undefeated in the UFC. She seems well rounded, but I haven't seen enough of her to say like confidently that she's well rounded. Striking is good, submissions are even better. The Iron Lady Marina Moroz, regardless of the size, I mean for a strawweight, she can crack. She probably got close to the most knockouts in the flyweight division. I feel like this is a test for her, kind of almost probably win or go home because, like I said, she's been around for a while. I feel like this will show you if she's reached her full potential or not in the UFC. I'm gonna go Marina Moroz by knockout just because I feel like she's gonna come out with something to prove, and she needs it more. We're not gonna spend. Go ahead.
If she won by knockout, that'd be pretty impressive. Even though she does have the stand up, if she won by knockout, that'd be pretty impressive because Silva is an up and comer, and I feel like she got like a lot of potential. Like you said, I haven't seen enough of her yet, but I feel like she got a lot of potential. So that'd be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I feel like in this division, everybody is chasing right now Valentina, correct?
Yeah.
So they're gonna decide that title in a few weeks, but I feel like neither one of these ladies are on that level right now, so we're not gonna even go into that. Not gonna spend too much time on these early prelims because we got a long card ahead of us. So we're gonna move on to the very next bout. Another one in the women's flyweight division. We have Andrea KGB Lee versus Natalia Silva.
All right, so for this fight, I'm gonna go with KGB. I feel like this is kind of another fight, it's similar where she should win this fight. I wouldn't be shocked if she lost, but I feel like she need to start putting together a winning streak and start trying to get up to the upper echelon of the division. So I'm getting her by decision. Also, I think she'll win by decision probably.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one. I feel like Andrea Lee has a lot of potential, but like you said, she can't really string wins together. Like she'll win one, lose one. She has lost a few close decisions that I felt like could have went either way. Natalia Silva, another up and comer. new to the game. I feel like this is a get right fight for Andrea Lee because to be honest with you, I feel like I don't even think Natalia is close to the top 15. Obviously, she's not ranked as you can see, but I don't even think she's close to the top 15. Or is Andrea Lee? I feel like she's the more proven commodity at this point. So I could see her taking home the win. I feel like decision would be cool, but I feel like if she doesn't finish her, then I would say that's kind of not going to look too good on her. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like this is set up for her to get the finish.
Travis is asking any round prediction.
I'll say second round sub.
All right.
So next up we have former Ultimate Fighter contestant Andre Petrosky versus GM3 Gerald Meerschaert.
Man, I don't like this fight, man. I'm a Gerald Meerschaert fan. Like, I'm a huge GM3 fan, but whenever I have the most faith in him and I want him to win the most, he always get like slept too. And the thing about him is when he get knocked out, a lot of times it's like a one punch and he just collapsed kind of knockout. It's not not a TKO or something like that. So I feel like eventually those kind of knockouts catch up to you. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Andre Petrosky on this one. I think he's gonna get a second round KO.
All right. Well, the way I see this fight playing out, Gerald Meerschaert is kind of getting long in the tooth a little bit. You're absolutely right. He finish you, Gerald. I'm talking about. Either he'll finish you by submission, or he'll get knocked out cold. And actually, just saw him in April when we went to the fights in Miami. He got knocked out by Joe Pyfer. I feel like he's kind of like a gatekeeper now. And so they usually put the up and comers with a lot of potential up against him, and either like look, how they did him with Hamzat, and then not Joe Meerschaert, they did him with Hamzat. Hamzat knocked him out with one punch. Then they let him face Joe Pyfer. He knocked him out with one punch. But Andre Petrosky is a wrestler, so I feel like that's going to play into Meerschaert's wheelhouse. And I've never seen Meerschaert dominate a fight. Either he's losing and he comes back with a finish, or he gets finished early. Petrosky, on the other hand, I don't trust his gas tank. I feel like he hit what they call that 7-minute wall. Like in the middle of round 2, he'll gas out. So if this fight goes past round 2, I like Gerald Meerschaert for a choke and a submission, probably put him to sleep.
Yeah, I feel like it's either one or two things gonna happen. Either he's gonna get KO'd in the first round, or like a right hook up against the cage or something like that, or he's gonna get dropped maybe once or twice and be bloody and do like a bloody mess, and he'll survive and pull like a rabbit out of his ass or something and submit him in the third round.
Shout out to Xavier Martinez. He said that sounded like a money loss, bro. You was putting some money on this?
No, not this one.
You can do a little friendly wager if you want to. We'll figure something out. All right, so that's it for the early prelims. Next up, to start off the regular prelims, we have Superman Brad Katona versus the Renegade Cody Gibson, and this is actually a Ultimate Fighter finale fight for the bantamweight division. They had 2 weight classes, bantamweight and lightweight. Brad Katona originally, if you followed the show, was he originally actually trains with McGregor at KGB in Ireland, but he was on Chandler's team. Yeah, and he switched out and went to Connor's team later after Connor's team got swept and only lost one fight. Cody Gibson was Team Chandler all the way. These guys had a lot of heat throughout the show, so I think it's kind of cool that they play it out where they get to see each other last. Cody Gibson actually won his last fight by submission in the first round. It was an arm triangle. I respect Cody Gibson a lot, but I'm not good. Actually, I'm gonna get your take on this fight first.
I haven't followed the Ultimate Fighter too much this season because number one, I'm not sure if McGregor is even going to fight Chandler, and number two, I'm more I like the contenders better, but that's besides the point. Um, I know a little bit of Brad Katona. Uh, I have seen him before, so by default, I'm gonna go with him to win. I think he's gonna win probably by decision. If I had to guess, but yeah, that's all I really got for this fight. And hopefully he wins because I'm Team McGregor all the way. Let's go McGregor.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this: Cody Gibson tore his MCL, and after his first win on Ultimate Fighter, decided to stay on the show and came and actually won the whole thing. He's been out of the UFC for 8 years, and keep in mind, Brad Katona has won the Ultimate Fighter before. So if he wins this fight, he'll be the first person to ever win the Ultimate Fighter twice. Both of these guys were cut from the UFC a while ago. Believe it or not, Cody Gibson, a little known fact, his debut in the UFC, you know who he beat?
Who he beat?
Aljamain Sterling.
For real?
Hey, yes, sir. So yeah, that's kind of cool. If you look at his topology, he actually has a lot of high level names on his record. So I mean, he's been in there with the best. I'm hoping for Cody Gibson to win. I can see this fight being rather boring because Brad Katona has only had one exciting fight in his whole life, and yeah, that's pretty much that. So I know Brad Katona is going to try to lay and pray, and I feel like he don't really try to finish fights. He tries to win decisions. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And whereas Cody Gibson, he coming in looking to finish. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with Cody Gibson on this one, but I can honestly see it going either way. So I don't really got no ending prediction. Probably gonna go to a decision if Brad Katona have his way. But we'll move on to the very next fight, which is also an Ultimate Fighter finale fight where you have Austin Thud Hubbard versus Kurt Holloway.
All right, for this fight, I'm gonna go with Austin Hubbard just because I know more of him. As far as a prediction on how he's gonna win, I'm not sure. I would just say decision by default, but I feel like he's just a little bit of a better fighter in my opinion than Kurt Holloway, and I just think that he gonna take it.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna go Kurt Holloway. These were both Chandler's guys. Kurt Holloway got that dog in him. He come for a scrap. I think he would rather keep it standing, but I can see Austin Hubbard shooting for a takedown and Kurt snatching the guillotine. So I feel like Kurt is well rounded, but he's better on the striking because Austin Hubbard is more of a grappler. So it's sort of like a grappler versus striker. So I mean, with that being said, I feel like if he can keep it standing, it's just a matter of can Kurt keep it standing versus can Austin take him down. And I think we're going to see that as a reoccurring theme as we go throughout the card. But shout out to Team Chandler, man. They really ran the table.
Yeah, they did. I feel like, honestly, a sidebar right here. I feel like Chandler was way more invested in the team aspect and the coaching aspect of the Ultimate Fighter, as where McGregor was more invested in a show, you know what I'm saying, or being seen or something like that. You feel me? You know, and
Absolutely.
That's another reason too, because I'm the biggest McGregor fan. But that's another reason too why I didn't really watch it, because you could just tell from the previews and the little clips and stuff that I watched, McGregor was more a show, and I feel like it's kind of messed up because you got these fighters, they basically putting their career in your hands. You feel me? So I feel like you should have took it a little bit more serious and try to coach them up and all that kind of stuff. You know.
You say you're the biggest McGregor fan. That's the word you'll use. All right, but. Yeah, shout out to Jay, man. I appreciate that. So what I did notice about that show is that Chandler, first of all, not one time did I see McGregor wear his team jersey. Not one time did I see McGregor come to the weigh-ins for the fight. Chandler was definitely more invested in these guys. And I feel like McGregor kind of like his skills are kind of like his downfall when it comes to coaching. Kind of like when you saw the season with Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. I feel like sometimes when you're so elite, it's almost like speaking to somebody when you got a really high IQ and you have to dumb things down and you lose the patience for it.
Yeah.
Because or as Connor would say, get up, get up. Chandler would say, put your knees on his hips and push them off. But put your feet on his hips and push them off. Like he'll tell you how to get up. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of why I see. Like I don't think it's any fault to McGregor as far as him not being a. I think the effort was there. You get what I'm saying? But I just feel like he didn't know how to break it down and simplify things the way Chandler did.
Hey, but it's like the classic sports argument: the greater the player, the worse of the coach or executive, like Michael Jordan and stuff like that. You know, or arguably the greatest NBA player, but he's by far the worst GM now.
Right. Makes sense. All right, so moving right along. I know this one's gonna tickle your fancy.
Yeah.
We we got RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez versus Dennis Tiuliulin.
All right, for this one, I'm going RoboCop all day. I feel like he that Brazilian dog. As far as the finish, I'm not sure how he's going to get the finish, or if he's going to get the finish, but I'm definitely picking him to win. I'm just a fan of him, and I just feel like he's pretty well-rounded. Like he got good jiu-jitsu. He's not bad on the feet. His clinch isn't too bad. I guess if I had to pick a finish, I would say maybe a KO in round 2, maybe, if I had to pick. But I'm going to use Gregory Rodriguez, man. And for the most part, he's never in a boring fight. So, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that's where you were going with that. And honestly, I can't blame you. Dennis Tiuliulin, I really don't know much about him, but I do know RoboCop is a killer. I do know that he's kill or be killed in there. His striking is phenomenal. He has power in both hands. I noticed his last couple fights, he comes out like more calculated a little bit, and I like that for him because sometimes he seemed like he would gas out. So, like I said, I can't really give too much of a breakdown because I don't know too much about his opponent, but I do know what I do know is that Gregory Rodriguez is a knockout artist. So I do expect him to win this fight by knockout, and that's pretty much that.
He's the kind of fighter, he'll take one to get one. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll take 2 or 3 shots and he'll keep plowing forward and then try to get like a nasty hook or something and knock his opponent out.
Yeah, because he got faith in that power. And but the one thing I can say is I think it was when he was fighting Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Is that the fight? Is that the fight where he got that nasty gash on like right above his nose?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So I don't know if I don't know how that's gonna hold up as far as the scar tissue. I do believe that was his last fight, and maybe he had one more after that. But yeah, I mean, he's known for getting bloody and still getting the job done. So I feel like that's pretty much that on that. You might want to wear all black to that fight because it might be a funeral.
Hey, bro, before you go to the next fight, Chris, he put McGregor is on the mixed steroids on proper 12. And that's a rumor as to why the fight hasn't happened or hasn't have a date yet because McGregor and steroids or whatever. It's just
that's not the rumor. That's not the rumor. That's the reason because he won't jump in the pool. But
it's accusations, man. You can't say that for sure. It's accusations. He hasn't been proven guilty yet, so you can't say that.
I mean, he's not guilty because he didn't step in the pool, but everybody knows. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I get it. I don't think McGregor is a cheater at all. But when you suffer a leg break the way he did, steroids help heal it. You get what I'm saying? So he did the right thing and got himself out of the pool so he can get himself healed as quick as possible by taking whatever steroids he took. And obviously he was on something by how big he got.
Bro.
And I don't hold that against him at all. Because I mean, look, Anderson Silva, when he broke his leg like that, he took steroids to heal it. He got popped. But it's like, I mean, I feel like Conor did it the right way. You get what I'm saying? So now the only thing is just everybody want this fight to happen. and he got to be in the pool 6 months and piss clean 3 times in order for them to. But I think they're gonna find a way to waive it because that's just like if you get signed off the streets today, they'll waive your drug test. You get what I'm saying? Because they don't have time to test you and get all your paperwork done.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna find a way around it, and I don't think Chandler cares, to be honest. I think he just want to fight.
All right.
So next in the middleweight division, we have the All-American Chris Weidman versus Brad Tavares.
All right. I want to start this. I want to start this off by saying Chris Weidman is probably a cool person. You know, he's probably a nice human being, but as a fighter, I'm not a fan at all. I actually dislike him because of the Anderson Silva situation, and I just feel like
dislike is the word you're gonna use. That's cool.
And I just feel like I feel like he's been overrated. You know, he had a title defense against Vitor, which is very I got to put an asterisk by that because Vitor was skinny as hell and he was off the juice and he just wasn't himself.
Wait a minute. So you got to put an asterisk by it because Vitor wasn't on TRT?
Yeah, but no, because look, listen to me though. After Vitor got off of his TRT, he lost a lot of weight, and he hasn't been the same since. You feel me? Like it took a lot out of him. He wasn't even as good as he was before he was on the TRT. It took so much out of him that everybody started beating Vitor after that. You know, so
what that tell you?
No, but before he started taking it, you know, back in the day, he was good, you know, when he was a phenom. But back to my point, after that, Chris Weidman fought a person who actually has good grappling, Luke Rockhold. Only fight I ever rooted for Luke Rockhold, and he got destroyed. He got taken down, and he's supposed to be this All-American wrestler and, All-American person and all this kind of stuff. He got taken down and mauled and destroyed by Luke Rockhold. And
I think that's revisionist history, sir, because he didn't get dominated in that fight. I feel like he was winning that fight, and then I feel like, don't get me wrong, I feel like a lot of times when you see people gas out, I think it's because the fight was harder than they expected it to be, and I feel like Rockhold was a harder opponent than he expected him to be, and so he started trying things that's not even really in his wheelhouse. Like he tried that spinning kick, he missed, he stumbled, he got taken down, and that was the beginning of the end. But go ahead.
And then since then, he's been knocked out by Yoel Romero in New York. He's been knocked out by Jacare Souza in New York. And when me and my brother went to go see him live, he broke his leg in Jacksonville against Uriah Hall. And I think that I'm never a fan of anybody breaking limbs in any kind of sport, you know, because these are professional athletes.
Here you go.
But at the same time, I feel like it was very, very poetic. The way the universe had him break his leg on a kick, the way Anderson Silva broke his leg against him, you know. With all that being said, this fight is his comeback fight. And he is the underdog too, plus 220 in this fight. The key for him to win, if he's going to win this fight, is his wrestling. I feel like he kind of fell in love with his hands too much over the latter part of his career, and that's when enabled him to get knocked out, you know. Because like the Jacare fight, he was just standing up with Jacare for the most part, and he just kind of got caught. So I feel like the key for this fight is he got to try to use his wrestling and try to get the clinch work in. I don't think that he should just stand up, even though Brad Tavares isn't the most elite striker in the world. I don't think that Weidman should stand up with him. His best path to success is getting them takedown and just ground and pounding or trying to get the submission. Brad Tavares, he's a very well-rounded fighter. Like he doesn't excel in one area in particular, but he's very well-rounded, and he's also a measuring stick that the UFC use against up-and-coming fighters. So with that being said, I'm gonna pick Brad Tavares to win this fight. It's not gonna be easy. He's not gonna finish Weidman, I don't think. I think Weidman actually gonna look pretty decent, but I just don't think that he has the capabilities of being a top-tier martial artist nowadays. So I'm gonna pick Brad Tavares to win by decision. Hopefully he get a brutal knockout. I would love to see that. And then hopefully Chris Weidman will retire after this and we never see him again. Thank
you. All right. I'm surprised he didn't mention the Dominic Reyes knockout.
Yeah, but see, I feel like I don't hold that against Weidman because at that time Reyes would have probably knocked out anybody, and he was also going up into light heavyweight, if I remember right. So I can't
Yeah,
really
you're
hold,
right.
I can't hold that against him. He just bit off more than he can chew with that one. You feel me?
I feel like you can't hold it against him, but I know you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
All right, so this is the featured prelim. Usually the featured prelim, they put together a fun matchup, something that's going to entertain the crowd. That's their last ditch effort to try to convince you to part ways with your $79, $80 and buy this pay per view. Um, if you notice one thing when you break down this fight, it's more about Chris Weidman than it is about Brad Tavares.
True.
Chris Weidman, I never was a fan. I was upset when he beat Silva too. Crazy thing about it, when he fought Anderson Silva the first time, he was a 2-1 underdog. When he fought him again, he was a 2-1 underdog. Now he's fighting Brad Tavares, and he's a 2-1 underdog. And I feel like they're giving him credit for his past. And like I said, I never was really a fan of Chris Weidman, but after being there in person and seeing what we saw, the way he broke his leg and literally like the bone snapped and he stepped back on it and then the bone popped out of the back of his calf and it was disgusting. But so for him to go through that and then go through all the surgeries, almost had his leg amputated because the first surgery was a failure, and then come back and actually make it back to the octagon. He didn't do the Connor thing or the Anderson thing, which I'm not giving him credit for that because I feel like, hey, like whatever's gonna help you heal faster, he could have jumped out of the pool. But that being said, it was a long road to recovery, and I respect the fact that he even made it back. He says that when he come in, the first thing he gonna do is throw a leg kick as hard as he can. We'll see how that play out. Brad Tavares, I feel like he's capable of winning this fight. It's a 50-50 fight. I do agree with you, however, when you said that Weidman fell in love with his hands. In the Jacare fight, he was winning that fight until he wasn't. I actually watched that fight a couple of days ago. I don't really know who to pick in this fight. I'm almost rooting for Chris Weidman. You feel me? But just because, I mean, that'd be a great comeback story. But realistically, I can see it going either way. I can see Chris Weidman getting finished on the feet. If he take him down, then I can see him winning all 3 rounds if he can get the takedowns. So I'm gonna go Weidman by decision.
All right, shout out to Jay too. He said and he said Weidman for the win. He got Weidman. Question, bro.
See, go ahead.
If all right, so if Chris Weidman wins this fight, then where do you think he goes from there? You know, like where do you think how far? What I'm asking is how far do you think he can go? You know, if he do look good in this fight.
All right. Well,
hey, Naomi said, "What's up, Jose?"
What's up? What's up? Thanks for tuning in. So I see it like this. When they asked him at the press conference, is this just a comeback fight or is this a comeback for your career? He said he's going to win this fight. He's going to go on a run. He's going to get the belt and he's going to retire. I don't see that happening. He may win this fight, but as he climbs up the division, I mean, Brad Tavares is not even ranked. So as he climbs up the division, I don't really see him beating some of those guys. I mean, can he beat Marvin Vettori? Probably. Can he beat Jared Cannonier? I don't think so. Not this version of Chris Weidman.
Nope.
Can he beat Dricus? I don't think so. Can he beat Robert Whitaker? I don't think so. I feel like the bantamweight division and the lightweight division get a lot of credit. People rave about how stacked they are, but I feel like the middleweight division got a lot of killers in it too. One thing I will say is he does match up well with Izzy, but that's only if he can get those takedowns. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you took my point away. What's up, Jay? I was going to say, I remember a while back when he was still injured, he posted a video. It was like a 4 or 5 minute video, and he was explaining why he would be the best person to beat Izzy and how he got the tools and capabilities to beat him. And it's like as much as I don't like him, I came from that video thinking like, damn, you know what? He actually got a point. You know what I mean? So you know,
Yeah, it's all about matchups.
yeah. I'm gonna just read off. I'm gonna just read off the top, maybe like 5 of the middleweights. At 15, you got Andre Muniz. I think he can beat him. 14,
Yeah.
you got Chris Curtis. That's give or take. 13, you got Paul Craig. 12, you got Nasruddin Imanov. 11 is
Hey,
Kevin.
stop right there. Stop. I'm sorry, but I would like to see him fight Paul Craig.
Yeah, I think that'd be actually a real good fight because Paul Craig
That's what I'm saying. The matchup.
bro. Yeah. Hey, looking at it, it's actually pretty interesting though. Like I like it. You got Brendan Allen at number 10 and Gastelum at number 11.
All right, so and he fought Gastelum already.
Yeah.
So let's just will that into existence. Let's manifest that. He
Him and
gonna win
Paul
this
Craig.
fight. Yeah, he gonna win this fight, and he gonna go against Paul Craig.
Hey, what's up, Naomi? How you doing? Yeah, so I like that could be actually a fight night main event too. Chris just trying to come back like Anderson did after the injury. I don't see him going on a crazy run, but he is a name and will draw still. Yeah, that's why I think he'll be a good in the main event against Paul Craig. It'll be a good little
That's the fight night main event,
yeah.
and it's a good test because they're both grapplers. Only thing is, I think Paul Craig he will have to be careful on the ground with Craig because he got those submissions.
Yeah.
And Weidman said he felt disrespected for being on the prelims, but it's like you're not who you used to be. And I mean, I feel like he plays perfectly.
Well, bro, when we get to the main card, there was one fight on the main card. I feel like it could have been substituted with. We'll get to that when it come out though.
I know which one you're talking about, but so moving right along, we'll step into this main card, the very first fight on the main card, which should be fireworks. We have Marlon Cheeto Vera versus Pedro the Punisher Munoz in the bantamweight division.
Oh boy, hey, I love this fight because Marlon Vera, he's in my top 5 of favorite fighters. Period. I love Marlon Vera, man. Like the head kick that he had against Dominic Cruz, you would never see nobody else knock out Dominic Cruz like that. It was nasty, you know. And the way that he destroyed Rob Font and he taunted him while he was destroying him, it was crazy. What's up, Uncle Ben? Uncle Ben listening in. Shout out Uncle Ben. All right, so you got number 6 ranked Marlon Vera versus Pedro Munoz. This fight is gonna be real interesting because Pedro is he known for being in bangers and he finna come and he finna just try to take your head off. Marlon Vera, he likes to fight more at range. I wouldn't consider him to be a brawler. He like to stay at range and pick his opponent apart, along with the head kick of Dominic Cruz. He also like to use his the little up kicks up the middle. You know, he uses his jabs pretty good too. If I had to choose, I can see Pedro probably taking him down and then Marlon cutting him with an elbow from the bottom or something like that. He got pretty decent elbows. His last performance wasn't impressive against Corey Sanhagen. I feel like he just couldn't get out of the blocks, and that's the one thing that worries me about Marlon Vera. Every now and then, like maybe once every 4 or 5 fights, he have a fight where he just kind of just can't get it. He just can't. I don't know. He just can't get out. You know what I'm saying? Like he just can't get it started. The most recent fight, besides the fight against Sanhagen, was when he fought Jose Aldo. You know, I don't know if the moment was too big for him at the time or what, because he wasn't like a real main eventer yet. But he kind of froze up a little bit in that fight, in my opinion, and he didn't really let his hands go. So with that being said, I think in this fight, he looking for revenge and he looking to make up for that last performance because he was on a 4 or 5 fight winning streak, I believe. And if he'd have won that fight, I feel like he could have got a title shot. So he needed to win this fight. He needed to get back on a winning streak. I like him to. I don't think Munoz has been finished, but I like him to knock out Pedro Munoz with a head kick in I would say round 3 because he gonna batter him. He gonna beat him up. He don't got the devastating knockout power, but he's the kind of fighter that he'll pick you apart. And then he'll use his range and he'll, use like counters and stuff like that. And I feel like he can knock him out in the 3rd round. I'm gonna give him maybe a head kick or something like that. Or I can see him cutting him real nasty with an elbow, maybe in the 1st round. And with the elbow, Pedro Munoz not being able to really fight to his capabilities because he got so much blood in his face or something like that. So I'm going Marlon Vera with the third round TKO KO.
All right, I got a lot to say about this fight. First off, I want to bring it back to Corey Sandhagen. You see how? All right, I'm amazed by Corey Sandhagen's evolution as a fighter. Um, One thing I noticed is that when he fought Marlon Vera, that was a 5-round fight. Um, Marlon Vera, known as a slow starter, and I'll touch on that in a second, but usually he picks it up like as the fight goes on, and he just couldn't get started, like you said. You hear his coaches asking him, "What's going on?" Like, need to pick it up, let your hands go. What's going on? Like, they're giving him all the what they think are solutions, and none of them work. Then fast forward to 2 weeks ago, Corey Sandhagen versus Rob Font, who Marlon Vera destroyed, by the way. What were Rob Font's coaches saying to him? What's going on? Why you can't get going? Like, what's the problem? Do this, do this. They were trying to. He couldn't get going either. So I don't really think that's a knock on Marlon Vera or a knock on Rob Font. I think Corey Sandhagen is just analyzing these guys and finding out what they do and shutting it down. You get what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that. But back to this fight, this current fight, Marlon Vera, he's kind of a slow starter. I feel like he likes to sit back and throw things at you and kind of figure you out and watch for patterns. And if you see how he knocked out Dominic Cruz, he kind of like threw a lot of stuff at him, watched his patterns, and then he realized, okay, every time I throw this, he throws that, and then he dips his head to the left, so I'm going to throw a right head kick when he dips his head. And that's how he get his knockouts. Marlon Vera has the most knockouts in the bantamweight division, by the way. Pedro Munoz, in my opinion, he's unfinishable. And until I see somebody do it, I'm going to stay with that. Never been finished. Ironically, Marlon Vera is the only guy to defeat Sean O'Malley, who was in the main event. And Pedro Munoz also fought Sean O'Malley, and I feel like he was winning that fight until it got stopped from the IPO. So that being said, I feel like the UFC strategically placed this fight on this card for one of these guys, preferably Cheeto, to be the backup fighter if somebody miss weight or pull out of the main event. You don't think so?
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I think that's a good possibility. It makes a lot of sense.
So with this fight, Pedro Munoz, even though he's the shorter guy, I feel like he like to use his range a lot too, which is kind of weird, and just throw head kicks and try to wait for you to open up so we can counter. So this fight, even though they're both top 10 guys, they're both finishers, they're both warriors, it has the potential to be an all-out slugfest, or it has the potential to be boring until like about the second, like the third round when the fight is really on the line and both guys have to go for it. So this one is a hard one to pick. I'm a huge Cheeto Vera fan, just like you, so I would like for him to win, but I feel like people sleep on Pedro Munoz. I mean, like, he's fought the elite of the elite. He's only lost to the elite. He knocked out Cody Garbrandt. He only lost to who? Aljo and Dominic Cruz and probably one or two other people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to pick a winner in this fight. I don't really see it going. I don't see nobody getting finished. If anybody gets finished, I'll be really impressed. I feel like the easiest path, I do see a clearer path to victory for Pedro than I do for Marlon, and that's with the grappling. I feel like if he can take him down and like kind of hold him there. And another thing about it too, it's a 3-round fight, so Cheeto can't come out starting off slow. You get what I'm saying? Because you can't afford to lose a round. You definitely can't afford to lose 2, because now you already need a knockout. So, I mean, I don't even know if I have a pick for this fight, to be honest with you. I'm gonna say Pedro Munoz, but that's not what I want to happen.
All right.
Pedro Munoz by decision.
I think it's safe to say that Corey Sandhagen is going to get the next title shot probably. So with that being said, I feel like Marlon Vera has to win at least 2 or 3 fights to get another title shot.
I feel like if you win this fight, and O'Malley wins his fight, then he'll be next. To be honest with you, because
Yeah.
O'Malley won that W back, I feel like that'll sell. But I feel like Marab get lost in the shuffle and all that. And O'Malley saying if he win, he want to fight in December. Corey Sandhagen just had surgery, so I don't know. Anything else you want to add on this fight?
Nah, I just hope that Cheeto win, man. That's it.
All right, so moving on. Another fight in the bantamweight division. Two young up-and-comers. You got Damon the Monster Blackshear versus Mario Bautista. Damon Blackshear stepping in on 7 days' notice to replace Cody No Love Garbrandt. Damon Blackshear actually won a fight last week, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and give your analysis on this fight.
Yeah, that's the lead right there, man. This guy, Damon Blackshear, competed exactly, it's 7 days from tomorrow. It'll be 7 days ago, and he won his fight by a first round submission, a twister. And for those of you who don't know, a twister it's a very rare submission move / jiu-jitsu move. It's only been done, I believe, four times in UFC, maybe 5. I believe it's 4 times.
And 4 times in my bedroom. No,
yeah, but when the fight started, he was able to get his opponent to the ground, and I believe he got a submission within the first 3 minutes. So he didn't really take a lot of damage at all. So with this fight, Mario Bautista is an up and comer. He's like I would call him a good prospect. That's why they had him up against Cody Garbrandt. I'm gonna take Mario to win this fight, man, because I don't really like the 7 days notice thing. Not 7 days notice, but just competing twice in 2 weeks, because even though he didn't take damage, like he still got to cut weight again, you know. And he's as y'all can see, y'all can't really see his body type, but he's pretty ripped and pretty big. So I'm assuming that he has to cut a decent amount of weight to get to where he at. So I'm thinking that he's gonna be pretty depleted. He just kind of did this to be a company man, I believe. I like Mario Bautista to win by second round knockout, maybe or TKO. I would say second round submission. And I think that he's gonna. I think Damon Blackshear is gonna pass out because I don't think he's gonna tap out. I think he's gonna go to sleep. And he's gonna be limp, and Mario Bautista gonna win that fight. Volkan asked.
And so Volkan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
He said, "Is we mean your highest confidence underdog?" Yeah, probably, because I don't have a lot of faith in Tavares. He's a good well-rounded fighter, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if Weidman win, or even if he got a submission. I would be shocked if he got a knockout, but if he got a submission or a decision, I won't be shocked because he does have the wrestling pedigree. So,
honestly, what I'm gonna say is this. I would say that's a 50-50 fight. If you were going to put money on any fight and you only looking for the underdogs and playing your odds, I would go for another fight that we're going to get to later on, just because I feel like it's a higher reward with lower risk, and the odds are kind of like, as far as what I think going to happen, I feel like it's kind of like the same 50-50. So yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about that. But as far as this fight right here with Bautista and Blackshear, I'm extremely disappointed that Cody Garbrandt isn't fighting on this card. Always will be one of my favorites. Mario Bautista won his last 3 fights by first round submission. Damon Blackshear coming off a first round submission. But don't get it twisted. Batista do got some hands. I haven't really seen Damon Blackshear stand up too much. I feel like last fight, he rushed his opponent, and with some combos, he made him lift his hands up just so we can get the takedown. So I'm not really confident in his striking. This is probably only his 3rd UFC fight. So yeah, he did take this fight just to it's a chance to get noticed and to be seen on the pay-per-view of a really good high-stakes card. Mario Bautista, he's fairly new. He's not ranked yet, but I do see him coming for the rankings. In my opinion, I just feel like his experience is going to get him this win. it would be kind of cool to see Damon Blackshear burst on the scenes with a W. But I think Mario Batista's experience and I feel like he's more well-rounded. I feel like he's a great grappler, but he also has really good stand-up, and it's more so of the unknown of what I don't know about Damon Blackshear. So I'm gonna go with Mario Batista for the win. I don't know if he'll get the finish, but to your point, Bones, when I watched the press conference, Damon Blackshear did look kind of like sucked in. Like you can see, like his eyes were sinking into his head and whatnot. So that weight cut probably did hurt him to do that twice in 1 week. That's kind of hard on your kidneys. Wouldn't be surprised with his experience if Mario Bautista tried to hit him with some liver shots. Just go ahead and test that theory. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead.
now I'm gonna say, you got to think too. Once he won his last fight, he didn't know he was going to fight again in 7 days. So I'm pretty sure he had a after victory meal. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, go ahead. I mean to interrupt.
No, you good. So yeah, I'm picking Mario Bautista for the win. I don't know how he's gonna get it done. But I feel like even Damon Blackshear don't got nothing to lose. So even if he loses a decision, that would still be impressive in my book. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like Mario Bautista, even in winning this fight, if he doesn't win it impressively, it's kind of like a knock on him.
Yeah. Chris put a comment up. Hold on, let me get to that. He said only 3 fighters ever to pull off the Twister submission: Korean Zombie, Bryce Mitchell, and Damon Blackshear.
Absolutely. There you have it. And the way he pulled it off too, you could see him setting it up. It was actually beautiful.
Shout out to DC, because I think that like DC was calling it before it was actually happening. He was calling.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool too.
I agree with you 100%. Anything else you want to add on this fight?
No, Batista, he should win. He should win impressively, I would say, just because, not to take nothing away from Blackshear, but because of the situation, the circumstance, you know.
Agreed. So next up, we got a fight in the welterweight division: Neil the Haitian Sensation Magny versus Ian Machado Gary. Whoever made the comment earlier about betting on the fight, if you wanted to get more bang for your buck, me personally, I would take Neil Magny in this fight. And with that being said, go ahead, Bones, give me your analysis.
All right, this fight is probably my second most interesting fight on the card, maybe.
As opposed to what's number one?
But number one is Cheeto and Pedro Munoz. That's like my most interesting fight on the card, just because I'm very, very curious as to what's going to happen with that, you know?
Hey, can I say one thing before you break this fight down?
Go ahead.
You see how when they come to the rankings, the numbers don't lie? Like, your first most interesting fight, aside from the championship fights, I would assume would be number 6 versus number 10, followed by 11 versus 13.
Yep.
I just want to point that out, that they rank these fighters accordingly. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Anybody who's not a hardcore fan, when you see these numbers by the fighter's name, it's not a lie. It's not a fabrication. It's true and you know, it's honest. But so for Ian Machado Gary, he's Ireland's next big thing after my boy Conor McGregor. The thing I like about this fight is, I believe 2 fights ago, Ian Gary put himself on a 5-fight plan or something like that. He said he wanted to do like 5 fights and then fight for the title over, I think, a 2-year span. And since then, he's had 2 fights and he not disappointed. I'll be like, yeah, he knocked out Daniel Rodriguez his last fight. So after his last fight, he called out Neil Magny because he wanted to rise up in the rankings and move himself up in the rankings. So I respect the fact that he's calling his own shot. And not only is he going to call his own shot, he's going to hit the shot, and he's going to hit it impressively, because even though Neil Magny is well-rounded and he's a vet and everything like that, I got to go with my boy Ian Machado Gary. And I think that he's going to win impressively. He's not going to win by submission. I think he's going to knock him out, I would say, like in the second round. I think that Neil Magny is going to go for the clinch work. He's going to go for a couple of takedowns. He might even get a takedown or 2. But I can promise you that Ian Gary's going to get back up. He's going to bounce up from those takedowns. And from him getting up from the takedowns, that's going to be a deflation in Neil Magny's attitude and his whole demeanor, because he's not going to expect for him to get up like that. Neil Magny, I believe, think that he can submit Ian Gary, but it ain't gonna happen. So I feel like Neil Magny might try to take him down twice. It might even be successful. Ian Gary will pop up. He'll catch him with maybe uppercut or a knee as Neil Magny is shooting in the game, and he'll just Neil Magny will crawl up and in the fetal position, and Ian Gary will just hit him with some ground and pound, and whoever the referee is of that moment will have to pull him off and save Neil Magny, and that'll be it.
And so you envisioned this, huh?
Oh yeah, I envisioned it.
All right. So Ian Machado Gary, very highly touted prospect. I feel like I'm not so quick to believe in a lot of prospects, but I will say that he's starting to make me a believer after the knockout of Daniel Rodriguez. But that was just a beautifully set up head kick. Kind of like how my boy Dustin Poirier just got knocked out from a beautifully set up head kick. I feel like a shin to the chin will put anybody down unless you Dan Hooker. But Neil Magny, this is why I say this is a fight that you might want to take a little chance on, because he's always slept on. He's not popular. He's everybody always sleep on him. Extremely underrated. He's not exciting to watch. But he wins. He has the most wins in welterweight history, surpassing George St. Pierre. So that's saying something. So with that being said, I feel like this fight right here will tell me what I need to know about Ian Gary. He's extremely brash. He has very good striking. He can almost keep that bladed kind of stance, kind of like Stephen Thompson, like a karate stance, I would say. Neil Magny, he's more so just going to put pressure on you, try to tie you up against the cage, wear you out. I've only seen Neil Magny knocked out twice. Ian Gary is a knockout artist. And I mean, after like 23 wins in the welterweight division, only seeing him get finished twice, I mean, that's saying a lot, because he's fought a who's who, but he could never really get over the hump. So he's turning into a gatekeeper. I will say also that Neil Magny took this fight on short notice. The original opponent was supposed to be Jeff Neal. So one Neal stepped out, another Neal stepped in. I'm interested to see how this fight gonna play out. I'm kind of intrigued. Like I said, I feel like if Ian Gary win this fight, that'll tell me exactly who he is, and then I'll be a believer. I feel like in order for him to win this fight, he's gonna have to keep his distance, stay away from the cage. I feel like anytime his foot touch that black line, he's gonna have to try to circle out to the left or the right and kind of like give himself more real estate. Because Neil Magny definitely want to smother him, not give him a chance to get off those long strikes, like the cheek kicks up the middle, the long jabs. In his last fight too, don't forget, Ian Gary did get dropped, but he went back to the corner, recouped, said, "I know I went wrong," came back and got a finish. That wasn't even his last fight; it was the fight before that.
Yeah, I was going to correct you, but you got it. Yeah.
But Neil Magny, I don't feel like has any power in his hands. So I don't think he got to fear Neil Magny striking at all. As long as he can keep his back off the cage and give himself space, he should be okay. Neil Magny, on the other hand, I feel like he got to smother him, not give him a chance to get off those kicks. I feel like as long as Neil Magny keep him moving backwards, he won't be able to plant to throw a kick. And then that way he'll only have to worry about the hands. And if he only got to worry about the hands, he could easily parry a jab or a hook or something like that and try to tie him up and push him up against the cage and make it a boring fight, which is what he need to do to win. I'm hoping that Ian Gary win by knockout because I'm not a Neil Magny fan. But like I said, this fight is going to tell you exactly who he is. I know the crowd is definitely going to be behind him. I don't know how much that affects Neil Magny, but I definitely feel like Ian Gary is in his head based off of the whole comments that he made about beating his kids and all that. You heard about that?
No, what happened?
Yeah, Neil Magny said something in his media day saying that he said he was gonna beat him like he was one of his kids. He said, "I'm gonna beat you like you one of my kids, and I'm accustomed to giving those type of ass whoopings because I'm a father." And so Ian Gary took it and twisted it like, "Oh, he's a child abuser." You feel me? and so and so now at the press conference, every time they asked Neil a question, Ian Gary interrupted and said he's not allowed to talk, and he just pretty much sunned him at the press conference. But you could tell it made Neil Magny get out of character because usually he chill, he don't really say much, you barely even know what his voice sounds like. You get what I'm saying? But he had him all riled up and cursing, and you could tell he got under his skin. So I don't know if the mind games is going to play a factor in this fight. If Neil Magny fight emotional, that definitely will be his downfall. And I feel like Ian Gary is kind of smart and trying to get in his head, because if Neil Magny can implement his game plan and stay tactical and stay focused, then this definitely will be Machado's biggest challenge. But if Neil Magny comes out emotional, he might just be looking to inflict pain, and Ian Gary is a really good counterpuncher. So,
Hey, so I got a question. I remember him getting knocked. Neil Magny, I'm talking about. I remember him getting knocked out by Santiago Ponzinibbio in Argentina, and I remember him getting finished by RDA by Arm Triangle. Who else knocked him out? BC, you got two knockouts.
Li Jingliang.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah. When Ian Gary win this fight, it'd be the biggest. And I can promise you, because I know him very well, you know, because he's my boy. I can promise you that he already got his next fighter lined up. I can promise you that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he is Conor McGregor's protege. Let's not forget that. So it's like I feel like his brashness is kind of like he's taking a page out of Conor's book, and he's trying to be. I heard the great Chael Sonnen say there's 731 fighters on the roster, and only 5 of them know that it's not just about the punches and the kicks. And the way Ian Gary is trying to make his star shine, and like coming at it, not approaching it just from the fighting aspect, but also from the brashness aspect, like Conor, you're like, that'll make him number 6.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen with that one. I didn't give a prediction because I don't really have one. I don't really have a prediction, but I'm gonna just say Ian Gary because that's what I want to happen. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised either way. But officially, I'm gonna go on the record and say Ian Gary. Go ahead.
I want to make it clear. I am a big Neil Magny fan. I'm a big Neil Magny fan. It's just I like Machado way more. That's it. But usually, I'll always root for Neil Magny.
All right. Anything else you want to add on that one?
No, man. I hope Ian Gary win, and I'm looking forward to his next fight. I was really disappointed that he's gonna fight Jeff Neal, and Jeff Neal get healthy, man, because he's been having a lot of health issues here and there. So.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that would have been a harder fight for him. Even though he called out Neal in his last fight, Magny that is, and he got Jeff Neal, I feel like Jeff Neal would have been a harder fight. I feel like he would have had the potential to get knocked out in that one. But stylistically, Jeff would have banged with him, you feel me? So, I mean, that could have went either way, too. So, man, you got to love this. Like, the highest level of competitors going at it at all times. It's I feel like they can't miss on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
All right. So up next in the co-main event of the evening, we have the women's strawweight title bout with the champion Magnum Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos.
All right.
What you got for me?
For this fight, Zhang Weili is the reigning defending women's strawweight champion.
Undisputed. Don't forget.
Yeah, she is undisputed, most definitely. She had a lot of ups and downs in her career. You know, the Rose knockout, which we were there for, and then the rematch, what she lost by decision. You know, but since then, she beat Paula Esparza, and you know, I just think that she's on another level. And very, very few fighters are like true to what they say as far as like, okay, when the fight start, I'm gonna try to knock my opponent out. You know, well, all fighters say that, but I feel like very few of them really mean it because a lot of them play it safe. She's the kind of fighter that when the fight starts, whether she's gonna take you down, she might take you down, but if she take you down, she gonna just hammer fist you to death and ground upon you to death and beat you unconscious, you know. Or she might just stand up with you. If she stand up with you, she can knock you out that way too, with a barrage of flurries and kicks and knees and elbows. She knocked out Joanna Jacek with a spinning back fist, and really it wasn't even a spinning back fist; it was a spinning back forearm, and she put her out cold, you know, and laid her flat, you know. So, man, that was impressive. Um, I feel like Amanda Lemos, she is good, and you know she is kind of like a bull, I would say, like in the China shop. She can be a little reckless. She has power. She can knock people out, but I just feel like Wei Lee is more technical. She can brawl with her if she want to brawl, but she is more technical. I feel like she has a better ground game, and I feel like she could take her down and ground her out. She could take her down and submit her, and I feel like she could also knock her out. You know, standing up. So out of all the fights on the card, I am most confident in this fight right here, and I'm pretty confident that Zhang Wei Li will finish Amanda Lemos. It will not go all 5 rounds. I don't know how she's going to finish her, whether it's going to be submission, ground and pound, or standing knockout. But I'm pretty confident in saying that she will finish her. I would say maybe round 2. I could see her maybe catching her with a knee to the body and then getting with a flurry similar to how she did on Andrade or something like that. But yeah, I definitely think Wei Lee, man, she on another level right now, and I feel like she real ferocious, you know, and just also training out of Thailand too, man. Like that Muay Thai is just nasty, you know. Go ahead, bro. I don't know if you're still here, but yeah,
Yeah, my
Wei Lee.
bad. I had myself on mute. You finna say something else?
No, I was just gonna say with Wei Lee, man. I feel like she's been holding that belt for a good minute. Like I don't see nobody beating her no time soon. I feel like this title run right here is going to be a title run that we're going to talk about a decade from now. You know, like damn, remember what I'm saying 10 years ago, Wei Lee was that undisputed champion and couldn't nobody beat her and stuff like that. You know, we're gonna be talking about this title run for a minute, in my opinion.
All right. Amanda Lemos is a knockout artist. Knockouts are hard to come by in the women's strawweight division. That being said, she does have knockout. She got a ground game. She used to train in boxing, so her footwork is pretty good. She's good at counters, and she got a mean left hook. I've seen her absolutely sleep women in this division. However, Zhang Wei Li. When I think Zhang Wei Li, I just think destruction. I mean, she's a finisher. I've probably seen her go to decision twice. One she lost, one she won. And what I would call one of the best fights I've ever seen, male or female, her versus Joanna Jacek. Still trying to get my boy Trevor to watch that one. But I would say Zhang Wei Li has way more paths to victory. I feel like Amanda Lemos only got one path to victory, and that's to get a knockout. So I guess you would say she got a puncher's chance. I don't know why there's no odds on this fight. That's kind of weird to me. But yeah, I feel like Zhang Wei Li, if you're not Rose Namajunas, you're not going to beat her. Rose Namajunas just left the division. So I agree with you and what you're saying. This is going to be a historic title run. But so what Zhang Wei Li, she can knock you out standing. She can knock you out on the feet. She can take you down and submit you. She can take you down and ground and pound you. She has a lot to handle. She has a very high volume. And I feel like ever since the first Rose fight, was it? Or was it after the first Joanna fight? She went and started training with Henry Cejudo, an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, 2-division champion in UFC. And her wrestling has, it's very rare that you see somebody that's at the top consistently evolve still. You get what I'm saying? So her evolution, I feel like, has put her on another level, and I don't see her losing this fight. I mean, I guess Amanda Lemos got a puncher's chance, which is why you still tune in, because upsets happen. But the way I see it, Amanda Lemos is going to lose this fight, and I think she's going to get finished. I don't think this fight is going to. I don't think they're going to need all 5 rounds. I think it's going to end in 3. No judges needed on this one. That's pretty much it. I mean, I feel like it's kind of simple. Zhang Weili is just, she's a tornado, man. She's going to come in and she's going to pretty much have her way with her. I feel like her path of least resistance would be to take her down. And knowing Carla Esparza's pedigree on the ground and then seeing what Zhang Weili did to her is just amazing. And I feel like she's super strong. And I feel like she could very well stand with her, but I feel like the path of least resistance to take her down and submit her or pound her out. I feel like after round 2, Amanda Lemos is going to realize that she ain't over her head and it's really going to test her resolve.
Yeah, to my brother's point, Carla Esparza is a world-renowned just wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's possibly the best wrestler of this division. Some can argue besides Tatiana Suarez, she is the best female wrestler, period, you know? And with that being said, Wei Li just straight up just destroyed her. Like, it wasn't even close. She just destroyed her. You know, she made Carla Esparza. Yeah, exactly. She made Carla Esparza look like it was a white belt versus a black belt, you know? And even after the fight, the look on Carla Esparza's face was like, oh shit, like what just happened? I don't even understand what just happened. You feel me? You could tell like she was surprised, you know what I'm saying? And you know, she was just kind of speechless, like just I don't know. But that's one point I wanted to make. And my last point on this fight is no disrespect to Amanda Lemos. I know she's a talented fighter and everything, but this is not the fight that we need to see. We need to see Zhang Weili versus Yang Xiaonan in China. Put it in China on you can even do a fight night card, going to make it a pay-per-view card, but just make that fight headline. And it will be the biggest MMA fight in China, in Chinese mixed martial arts history. I don't know what the UFC waiting on, but once Wei Li get through Amanda Lemos, give her Young Xiaonan in China, and we'll definitely tune in to watch that. Because remember the last time you put her in China, the last time you put her in China, remember what happened? She knocked out
Absolutely.
She knocked out Andrade in like 30 seconds. So she definitely capable.
And then Yang Xiaonan's last fight was actually against Andrade. It wasn't in China, but she knocked her out too. And I agree with you on that. But so if the UFC is going in the route of trying to fill their pockets and making a quick money grab, that's the fight to make. But as far as competition,
don't do it.
You know what the fight to make is.
She ain't got to be in this division though. She can go to the other division.
No, but as far as competition, you know what the fight to make is for Zhang Weili.
Tatiana Suarez.
Absolutely. Now I don't know if they want to play it, if they want to get the most bang for their buck, what they should do. But from what I hear, it's kind of hard for them to like make it happen in China like that. Like it's not like just a snap your fingers thing. And I feel like they didn't put this fight together just because it's been about a year since she defended that belt. So I feel like they're like, all right, we're gonna make this happen. I'm pretty sure they expect her to win this fight, but anything can happen in the fight. And ask Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas. I mean, anything can happen. Ask Shevchenko and Grasso. So, but I feel like if she wins this fight, I feel like they're probably already trying to work on that China card, and then they'll probably give Tatiana Suarez one more fight. Hopefully it's not against Yan Xiaonan, but they'll probably give her one more fight. And then the winner of Wei Li versus Xiaonan will probably fight Tatiana Suarez. And then at that point, Tatiana Suarez is capable of beating Zhang Weili because we just talked about the historic title run that could possibly be ahead of us. But I feel like if it's one person that could put an end to that, it is Tatiana Suarez.
You know, I'm looking at the rankings now. Suarez is ranked number 4. Yang Xiaonan is 3. Rose is number 2. You said she left the division. And Carla Esparza is number 1. So, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there you go.
All right.
Anything else you want to add on this one?
Nah, I'm hoping that we destroy her. That's it.
Most likely she will. So now we move on to the main event of the evening. We have the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, reigning, defending, undisputed champion in the bantamweight division, versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. What you got for me on this one?
All right. So there's two layers to this fight for me. The first layer is that just the basic layer of just being a great fight. Sean O'Malley has to stay at range because obviously he's the standout guy. He got the kickboxing. You know, he uses his kicks, he uses his jabs, he uses his uppercut. Yeah, what about Tatiana Suarez? Yeah. Aljo, Aljo wants to take the fight to the ground, get the clinch work. You know, I watched the countdown yesterday. Aljo was saying that, oh yeah, I couldn't take him down, but I can also stand up with him too. And I'm thinking, no, you better hell not, Aljo. Like, don't you dare stand up with him. You feel me?
Cap.
You know, so you better take him down. But if Aljo take him down, and Aljo get the backpack position and get his back, it's all over. It's a wrap. I feel like that's what's going to happen, and that can happen. The second layer to this fight, and the real reason why my heart wants Aljo to win, is because I call conspiracy, and I think the UFC doesn't want Aljo to have his belt. He defended his belt against TJ Dillashaw and then Henry Cejudo. Both are very elite level fighters, with the exception of Dillashaw, give or take, which are opinion because allegedly the steroids. So he beat both of those back to back. And after that, he wanted to take a little break and heal himself and rest up, you know. But no, the UFC wanted him to fight O'Malley, and they kind of pushed his hand into, taking the fight a little bit sooner than what he wanted to take it. I feel like the UFC don't want Aljo as champion. The reason why is because ever since he beat Peter Yan with a disqualification victory, the fans haven't liked him, and they haven't been on his side. And it broke my heart to see Aljo defending his belt in New Jersey, which is basically like a hometown fight for him, and the crowd booed Aljo. And I can understand if you boo Aljo in replace of Conor McGregor or John Jones, but you boo Aljo for Henry Cejudo, and it don't make sense. You know, I don't like it. Shame on y'all in New York and Jersey, man. That was messed up. So the fans not really behind Aljo, the UFC, the company not really behind Aljo. So somebody got to be behind my dog Aljo, and it's gonna be me. I'm picking Aljo to win. I think he's going to get the backpack position, and he's going to submit him in round 4 with the rear naked choke. And I think O'Malley, he's going to go back to the drawing board, and he'll be back in the title picture in 2 years, and he'll probably get the belt in 2 years, because after this fight, Aljo is going to retire from that division, move up, and DeWallace Truly is going to come in this division, and he's going to be the next champion once it's vacated. And that's it.
Well, I agree with a lot of things you said there. I feel like in this fight right here, it's pretty unfair that Aljo couldn't even celebrate his last victory, and they already had him booked for this fight. He just defended his belt, like 2 months ago? And then immediately he couldn't heal up. He couldn't get things fixed that he needed to get fixed because they immediately booked this fight. Meanwhile, O'Malley hasn't fought in a year. He's just been preparing for Aljo. That being said, it's the classic striker versus grappler. Aljamain Sterling, in my opinion, the greatest bantamweight ever. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
If you look, I mean,
it's only him and Dominic. It's only him and Dominic Cruz.
Thank you. And if he wins this fight, he will surpass Dominic Cruz for most title defenses in this division. So if he wins this fight, that solidifies it. There's no argument. He's on a 9-fight win streak. Most wins in the division. I feel like they call Stipe the greatest heavyweight of all time because he defended the belt more than anybody in the heavyweight division. So why Aljo can't get that same love? You get what I'm saying? So
good point.
He's definitely a finisher. The way I see this fight playing out, I feel like Aljamain Sterling just got to be Aljamain Sterling, and he'll win this fight. Sean O'Malley has to be perfect. He can't make not one mistake. I'm a Sterling fan, but because I'm an Aljo fan too, and because he seems to get the short end of the stick when it comes to the promotion and the fans. That makes me like him even more. So I just want him to cement his legacy tomorrow. But if I get out of my feelings and just talk about the X's and O's, I feel like I said if I get out of my feelings, and I'm going to tell you how I feel. You see that? But the way I see this fight going, I feel like Aljamain Sterling, if he get his hands on Sean O'Malley, then you pretty much cancel out that round, and that may be the end of the fight. The one thing that O'Malley has in this advantage is every round starts on the feet. O'Malley needs to keep this fight on his feet, but I don't see how he can stop these takedowns if you consider the fact that Aljamain Sterling's last fight was against Henry Cejudo, an Olympic gold medalist who is a little bit older than Aljamain Sterling, and I'm pretty sure Aljamain Sterling, coming from the wrestling community, at some point looked up to Henry Cejudo because he was a gold medalist, and so to have to put all that aside in your head and go ahead and fight this guy and out wrestled him. At one point, he had Henry Cejudo doing a split trying to avoid the takedown, and he still got. You remember that?
Yep.
And he still got taken down. And so I feel like if you can do that to an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, I feel like generally when it's striker versus grappler, the grappler always wins. O'Malley is rangy, and he does have a pretty clean striking. He's extremely accurate. He next to I'm drawing a blank right now. Next to Mark Hunt, he's the king of the walk-off knockouts. Yeah. So who you need to put money on? Put money on your boy. we got that boy Tremaine in the building. What's going on with you? Appreciate the support. So the way I see that is Aljamain Sterling. I feel like he can win the rounds easy, even possibly 10-8. I feel like O'Malley's best path to victory is a knockout, so he has to keep it standing for that. Kind of the same thing what I said about Ian Gary. If Aljo come out and put that pressure on him like he did at Sandhagen, O'Malley can't let his feet touch that black line before the cage. He got to circle out and try to throw some strikes. And even though Sean O'Malley has good kicks, I guarantee you he is going to be hesitant to throw those kicks because Aljamain Sterling is really good at catching kicks and taking you down. And I feel like one thing that people don't understand is when you're a striker and you're fighting a grappler, being worried about that takedown freezes your strikes.
Yep.
Because you know that every strike you throw, if you miss, you're open for a takedown. So I feel like O'Malley may have a problem letting his hands go. And if you look at the fight with O'Malley versus Pedro Munoz, I feel like O'Malley kind of froze up in that first round. Like he was on his way to losing that decision because he didn't really let his hands go. And I feel like, so if that was against another striker who has grappling, what is it going to look like against a grappler? I would definitely put my money on Aljamain Sterling on this fight. Hey, bro, you know who that Fuso Trav is?
No.
That's that boy Finesse.
Oh, what's up? Hey, I want to get this, when you get done, I want to get to some of these comments real quick. Trevor said that it's a conspiracy with his countrymen as far as Aljo. Chris said that Aljo's title run reminds him of Tyron Woodley's title run, the way the UFC is against him, and I agree with that.
Good call, Chris.
Yeah, Chris also said he would have said TJ Dillashaw was up there till he got popped for the roids. Yeah, as far as being one of the greatest bantamweight champions of all time.
I agree with all of that you said, Chris. I agree with all of that. Like you definitely hit the nail on the head. Like I didn't even think about that, but that's a very great comparison as far as Aljo to Woodley. And Trevor, you're right. It is a conspiracy against him, man. Like they be hating on the boy, but all he do is win. And I feel like I'm expecting him to win tomorrow night. And when he do, I'm gonna do a victory lap. And y'all getting me hyped up now. I might put my money on him just because. I usually don't bet on favorites. I bet on underdogs, but why not? But yeah, I feel like O'Malley got to be perfect to win this fight. That being said, I'm looking for Aljamain Sterling to win this fight. Hopefully, get a finish. After he get the finish, he gonna go ahead and go to the featherweight division, call out your boy Volkanovski, and then he gonna leave that belt where it's at. And then they might, because the company is behind O'Malley, they might go ahead and book him against Marlon Vera if he win that fight tomorrow, because that's O'Malley's only real loss that's his only loss on his record against Vera. And so I feel like they might put him back in another title fight. I know Henry Cejudo gonna come out the woodwork because he was supposed to fight Cheeto.
Don't get me started on Henry Cejudo, man. That man listen. You never had any intentions on fighting Marlon Vera. You knew from the moment you signed that fight that you was gonna back out. You know what I'm saying? And
he just won the title fight or nothing.
Yeah, you feel me? Because look, Henry Cejudo honestly and wholeheartedly believed he was going to beat Aljamain Sterling. He didn't have no plan B. You feel me? So once he lost that fight, he was like, "Oh shit, what I got to do now?" You know. So he booked the fight against my boy Cheeto, and then he backed out. 2 weeks later? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what I feel like too? Aljamain Sterling, I would like for him to take the judges out of the equation, because if he doesn't and Sean O'Malley keeps it sort of close,
they'll give it to him.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can see them robbing my boy.
Yeah,
but this weight cut is getting hard for him, so I see him moving up. And my boy Chael P say that he thinks that Sterling should call out. Specifically, he should call out Volkanovski, because if Volkanovski leaves that division and to go chase Makachev, then Aljo could say, "Oh, I ran him away from the division."
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Aljo gonna win this fight. I feel like he has the easier path to victory. He can 10-8 him for like however many rounds he want, but hopefully he get the finish. And that's pretty much that. But with that being said, I want you to give me your, like, the way you see things playing out, either way this fight goes.
The O'Malley fight. I mean, I see the first round. Them kind
What
of.
What happens if O'Malley wins? No, I'm saying like, what happens if O'Malley wins versus what happens if Sterling wins?
Oh, okay, well,
because I'm sorry, but the fact that Marab is so close to Sterling that they're gonna hate on him too.
Yeah, I know. I hate that.
And don't forget Sandhagen getting surgery, and don't forget that they still want to push Umar Nurmagomedov.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm looking at the.
Hey, this is one of the most stacked divisions. This is one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC, though.
And to your point, I'm gonna just go through the rankings real quick. Obviously, Aljo is champion. Number 1 is his best friend Marab Dvalishvili. Number 2 is Sean O'Malley. Number 3, Henry Cejudo. 4 is Corey Sandhagen. 5 is Peter Yan.
That's crazy.
6 is Marlon Vera. 7 is Rob Font. 8, Song Yadong. 9 is Dominic Cruz, and 10 is Pedro Munoz. So
you can take Dominic Cruz and Rob Font out of there because I don't see them being champions, but everybody else can beat anybody on any given night. So
I don't know about Song Yadong.
I believe in him. He lost to Corey Sandhagen. I mean, who don't? You feel me? Besides Aljo.
Yeah. All right. So if Aljo win, like I said before, he'll retire his belt and go up and try to get Volkanovski. We both agree with that. And then if that happens, that leaves Dvalishvili. He'll fight. I don't know how long Sandhagen gonna be out though.
About 6 months, he said.
Yeah, I don't know if the UFC gonna want to wait that long. If they don't give him,
I don't think they are.
I don't think if they don't give him Sandhagen, then I guess they're gonna. Damn, I would hate to see them do that, man. They'll probably give it to O'Malley again, or
Umar.
Or no, I can say either they're gonna give it to Umar Nurmagomedov because he's a Dagestani, or they're gonna give it to the winner of the Vera versus Munoz fight. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why they put that fight on this card too, like you said. But
I can honestly go ahead.
But if O'Malley wins, then his next defense honestly, it should be against my boy Marab. They got that story how he took the jacket and stuff. They can run with that, but
Yeah,
uh,
but O'Malley already called it out. He already like you know how Israel Adesanya set up his next fight before his fight is finished. He always makes sure he got a job to come back to.
oh wait, bro, hey, we forgot an important point. Chris just brought it up to us. O'Malley could land a knee just like Marlon Moraes did, and he still leaves himself open for that shot. Yeah, Sterling do kind of leave himself open for that knee, man, and that's the one thing that do make me a little bit worried. But I feel like he's veteran enough, and he been in the game long enough to where he'll take O'Malley kicks and use that against him, and, so
But you know what I noticed? What Sterling since then?
what
None of his takedowns are double legs anymore.
the single leg, right?
Either it's a single leg or it's a body lock. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
then when you're chasing the body lock and you're trying to get the underhook, the pivot, that's when he turn and take you back.
yeah. Good point.
But that was a good point, Chris.
Bro, I really hope Aljo win. Even though I am an O'Malley fan, it's just because of the way the UFC been treating him. I'm going for Aljo.
Hey, but like I was saying, O'Malley called his next shot already. He said if he wins, he want to fight Cheeto in December because he won that one back. So
Okay,
I
okay.
feel like they'll give him that. You get what I'm saying? And I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, because Cheetah gonna knock him out again. Well, he didn't knock
And
him out
then
the
he-
first time, but
and then he said, yeah, he TKO'd him on the ground.
yeah, I know he did, but I'm saying that because they're putting an asterisk by that victory because of the injury. Remember, he had a leg injury or something.
And if you really want to think about it, when he fought, was it Bautista? Somebody he fought injured his leg, and then they went down, and he didn't let him get up. He
Yeah,
stayed on top of him.
yeah, you're right.
So
I
I
remember
mean,
that because
so I mean,
he did an
so I
interview.
mean,
He did an interview with Joe Rogan on the ground.
right. But
Yeah, I remember that.
so I feel like and O'Malley even said that even if he loses, he was the last guy to fight for the belt, so he should. So I feel like they're gonna put that monster behind him because he's a marketable guy, and they'll probably give him another title shot. But also, I would like to add that I don't think he want to fight Marab because Marab is another marauding wrestler. You feel me? That don't get tired. They call him the machine for a reason, and that's the perfect moniker for him.
Man, so I want to bring this up. The last Aljo fight after he defeated Henry Cejudo, Aljo was in the ring giving his post-fight, victory speech, and they brought Sean O'Malley inside the ring, and he had on his Michael Jackson Thriller jacket. So when
Inside the cage.
yeah, so when he got inside the cage, he was standing up against Aljo, and they were going back and forth, and he kind of took his jacket off. And when he took his jacket off, Marab Shuli took his jacket and ran with it and started posing with it on the cage and stuff like that. And I thought that was funny. So, and
Yeah.
O'Malley said that he thought that he was a ring person because he was so short. You feel me?
Yeah.
But
And one thing I like to add too, O'Malley acknowledges that Aljo is the best bantamweight of all time.
yeah, I did hear that on the countdown. Hey, for anybody that want to watch the countdown, it's for free on YouTube. You can watch the countdown, and then you can watch the embedded series. It's about, I think, 4 videos, about 12 minutes each. It's pretty interesting, and it's a good breakdown, and it's a good lead up to the fight.
Well, I guess that's pretty much it. Anything else you would like to add before we close this out?
Now, I'm really pulling for Ian Machado Gary, and I'm pulling for my boy Marlon Cheeto Vera. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm really excited for this card tomorrow, but when is there a UFC pay-per-view that I'm not excited for? So, I mean, I guess that's something that I say often, but it is what it is. In my opinion, I mean, shit, I feel like it's the best sport in the world. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's no teammates. It's just you versus the other person, and the cage don't lie. You can say whatever you want to say outside of the cage. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but I'm better than this guy, I'm better than that guy. And sometimes you can be better than this guy, that guy, but one false move, and it costs you everything. So, I mean, it's the highest stakes in the world, and I'm just excited to watch UFC 292. And tomorrow night in the Boston Garden, they say that this gate is higher than when the Celtics went to the. It's the highest gate in Boston Garden.
I think you muted yourself, bro. Highest gate in Boston Garden history? Probably, because we know that the Celtics kind of trash anyway, so nobody want to see them play. They ain't winning no championship, no time.
But with that being said, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel because there's a lot of goodies on this channel, and that's pretty much that. Signing off. Peace.
Peace.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and the best is blessed, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. Keep it clean. Touch gloves if you wish. Let's do it.
Straight Talk MMA, hosted by Zay Bones and Trevor.